I'm Hila. I traveled for 28 days in Europe. Welcome to episode 5. It was time to leave Copenhagen and catch my overnight bus to Berlin. Halfway through the night, the bus even boarded a ferry. I've managed to catch a few hours of sleep, but I definitely wouldn't call it a good night's rest. I arrived at my friend's place around 7 a.m., a shower, and a few more hours of sleep later, I was ready to explore. I thought I was just tired from the overnight bus, so I decided to ignore it and start my day at the East Side Gallery. It's the longest remaining section of the Berlin Wall, which once divided the city into East and West Berlin. Today it's covered in murals created by artists from all over the world, turning a place that once represented the vision into something completely different. I really like how every section felt so unique. Some were thought-provoking, and some didn't even need words to tell a story. I think here you can see I'm not well. This was filmed at a time when the hostages were still being held. At the other end of the East Side Gallery, I found artworks dedicated to them, blending into the wall's history of telling stories through art. Seeing those pieces in person during that time was incredibly emotional for me. From there, I went to Halls Market 25. It's a creative riverside space filled with cafes, art, music, and space to simply slow down. It seems a bit closed when I was there, with not a lot of people, and it was great because I found a quiet spot by the water, sat in the sun for a while, and let myself rest. The more the day went on, the more I realized I was probably getting sick. I grabbed a toast sandwich and kept wandering through the city. Eventually, I reached Alexanderplatz, one of Berlin's busiest public squares. The TV tower dominates the skyline, so it's almost impossible to miss. From there, I continued to Neptune's fountain and kept wandering for a little. By that point, I was completely out of energy. I took the U-Bahn, Berlin's underground metro system, back to the apartment to get some rest. Finishing the day with a dinner and a long overdue catch-up with my beautiful friend Omer. Thank you so much for hosting me. Started the day with a quiet walk along the river. Stopped for a late breakfast and found my new favorite drink of the trip. Now I just need someone to bring it to my city. Next, I visited the memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe. It may look simple from the outside, but once you walk between the concrete blocks, everything changes. The deeper you go, the quieter it becomes. I'll be honest, Germany was never high on my travel list. Growing up with my family's history and being Jewish, I always had mixed feelings about coming here. Not because of Germany today, but because of its history. It always felt a little different to me as a place to travel to. Later, I noticed the small brass planks set into the sidewalks. Each one marks the last home for someone who was taken during the Holocaust. They're easy to miss, but once you notice them, you start seeing them everywhere. From there, I made my way toward the Brandenburg Gate. Past the Reichstag building, and walked along the Spree River until I made it to Berlin Cathedral. And at the evening, I ate some veggie hot dog and some fries with cheese and went to Berry Bar for my drink of the trip, alcoholic sour cider. Don't judge. A friend recommended me to wander through the Jewish quarter. So that's my plan today. On the street was the factory of Otto Max August Witte. He was the owner of a workshop for the blind and deaf. During the Holocaust, he fought to protect his Jewish workers against deportation, and he has been recognized for his work as one of the righteous men of the world's nations. I can be in a place like this for hours. Right on the corner, I stopped for a coffee at Café Cinema, a place that felt like an old cinema or a vintage theater. And of course, I couldn't say no to a passion fruit eclair at Canal. It was honestly as good as it looks. I wish I could try all of them. I continued wandering through the streets, enjoying the autumn colors and the mix of old buildings, art, and modern Berlin. I arrived at the new synagogue. It was originally built in the 19th century and was once one of the largest synagogues in Germany. Inside, there wasn't a huge exhibition, and parts of the buildings were closed because of renovations. The building itself is impressive, with its golden dome. Headed back, completely exhausted, I was still fighting this cold, and even though Berlin has so much more to offer, my body was asking me to slow down. I know I haven't seen much of the city. One day I will come back, healthy, and explore like it should have been. The next morning, I left Berlin and headed to Leipzig. I didn't have any plans for the day. I just wanted to arrive, get familiar with the city, take things slowly while I'm still healing, and get my energy up for tomorrow, which is what I'm really here for. Leipzig city center felt very different from Berlin. It just felt warmer and much less hectic. Of course, I arrived just as the market was wrapping up for the day and watched a few stalls that were still open start closing too, keeping up with my incredible strike of good timing. Explore the streets at night, nothing too exciting, just a quiet evening in a new place. For the first time in my life, I was going to a football match. I got a ticket for RB Leipzig against Borussia Mönchengladbach. The stadium was about half an hour from my hostel, and once I saw the crowd heading in the same direction, everyone was going to the same place. Even before getting inside, you could already feel the energy building up. The pitch looked perfect. Get some stadium food. Then I found my seat. I actually bought a ticket through the club's website from a fan who couldn't make it to the game. It turned out I was sitting in the seat that belonged to the son of the guy sitting next to me. The players came up for the warm-up. The fans started singing. There were chances, misses, saves, but somehow the ball just refused to go in. And then, that's it. 0-0. Lots of goals, huh? Even without the goals, the adrenaline, energy, tension, fans, I loved every second of it. It was my first football match and definitely an experience I'll remember. So for my next game, please just give me a few goals. Sorry about the jinx, guys. Back to the hostel, made me some pasta for dinner, and wrapped the day. Last day in Leipzig was also a slow one. I found these cinnamon rolls with the different flavors. One was inspired by alfajores and another has berries with white chocolate. They were definitely not something I needed, but I was very happy I tried them, and my stomach also. Later I sat down for a few hours with my laptop. Sometimes you have to stop, plan the next destination, book transportation, organize accommodations, and make sure everything actually works. It was time to leave Leipzig and continue to my next destination. See you guys at the next episode.